of what we have? Well,
It didn't start. Now we're ready to start. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I
Ready?
thought it started. Yeah, it's
Okay.
the
Okay, today we're going to talk about the Festool equipment that we've bought for the wood shop. A lot of people are already using several of the different pieces that we have. We have grown the selection over the last couple of years, and we're still working on it. Hope to get everything that you need. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Festool equipment back in this area where we are now, but go out the last door in the finishing area, we have the Festool stuff is all kept over in this area. There's a lot of different pieces here. Some you may be familiar with, some you may not. Some you may need some help with, not a problem. So you can talk to a lot of people in here. You got the mentors running around with the hats on that identify themselves, and there's just a lot of people that are there waiting for someone who needs help to go help you. So you shouldn't have a problem finding help. If you do have a problem, let me know, let any of the board members know. We'll make sure you get what you need so that you can use the equipment safely, properly. And with all that, I'm going to just kind of talk about the different things. We have a track saw, runs on these tracks. I'll cover the saw itself when we get over there. The tracks are kept on the end of this cabinet. The small one goes over here, the large ones go over there. All the equipment is kept in it, in the boxes that you see around here. When you use the track saw, we have a frame that you put down first on the table, and then you clamp your tracks to your product that it's going to set on that frame. You won't cut the tables. It works great. You can see this takes a lot of abuse. We have to replace parts in it once in a while, but that's what it's for. We have a boom vacuum system that we roll around to the different spots on the in the shop. And then we have another one that I'll talk about when we get down the other way. So we actually have two portables now that can go down around in the shop, and they are self-contained units where they have the vacuum in the bottom. The power, it all comes on. When you plug the Festool equipment in, it runs with the trigger on the Festool, and it turns the vacuum on and off at that time. All with the trigger. When you let go of the trigger or you shut the piece of equipment off, the vacuum shuts down at the same time. Works well, it's very quiet, it's a HEPA filter system, so we're not putting any dust in the air, we're not putting a lot of noise out. They just seem to work really well. We have a square sander down on the bottom. It doesn't get much use anymore now that everybody's using the rotaries, but we have the square sander as well as the triangular pointed one. We have cases that you'll see around here in the shop as we go along, but you know, you just have to look at it like this is a case for the sanding disc for the 6-inch sander. The portable one is a 6-inch sander, so you're looking at this like this, and that's probably my favorite sander in the shop. I really like that 6-inch. Covers a lot of area quickly. The track saw is kept in a case also. Everything is in cases, so it's easy to get at. So when you move it as a unit. Moving over here, these are the different pieces. This is the track saw that I was talking about. This is set up on a short piece of track. So you'd have your wood underneath there, of course, and you can clamp this down. It also has a rubber backing on it where you can set it in place. And if you're taking your time, you can run right down the track and you don't even have to clamp it. But a lot of people like to clamp it. I clamp some things I don't, depending on what my cut's going to be. But you see how easy it moves. You don't have to get a hold of it and get after it, and it just slides right down the track. And the nice thing, you just push forward and the head drops, so you're cutting, and then down the track you go. So the track saw is fantastic for straight lines, whatever you want. Some people, I don't know how, already have trying to find a way to put the blade in there, you know, like they're sawing with the old circular saws. That's not what it's meant to do. It's meant to hook into the track. It locks itself in, and you can see how easy it slides. So you shouldn't have a problem with that. Track saw, short track goes on the one side of the, long tracks go on the other side of the cabinet. Okay, pretty self, a lot of people have used that. So then we have a domino cutter. The domino cutter is much stronger than any of the other way we have. These are the dominoes. We have all different sizes of dominoes, so figuring out which job you're doing or how much strength you need determines the dominoes. The domino cutters are a small group in the package. They fit the different sizes of the dominoes. So all that is on the box. It tells you exactly the numbers you need for what you need for what tool and what domino. It's all right there for you. Then when you look at the domino cutter itself, you have the step. The cutter goes in the end. This piece slides off the back so you can change the tool if you need to. And then you can set this back down and you're good to go. And you can set the height here for the up and down. So whatever the thickness is, you want to get half of, so you're putting your domino in the center of your material. It's a simple piece of equipment. On here, this dial. If you're here, the domino is just straight. If you want the hole to be just a little bit elongated, you turn it up a click. If you want a little more room in it, because you want to allow for some movement in your piece that you're building, you can go up to 3. So it'll make it a little bit wider. It's all pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And if you have questions on it, you just have to ask somebody. Vacuum hooks on the side, power goes in the back. So if I took the unit right here, I could roll that thing right out there. You can see how this sander is plugged in. That's exactly how this thing would work. The hose would go on here, the power would go in here, you're good to go. When you turn it on, it automatically locks in. Touch the back, it's off. So great tool, great tool. Much stronger than biscuits. Biscuits are like outdated. The only thing you don't need to do with this is when you're using the dominoes, is you don't need one like every 6 inches. You can spread them out. They're strong. They are amazing what they do. I've done some testing with them and they hold up really well because I've stressed them to their max just so I could come in and tell people about how well the dominoes work. I couldn't tell you that if I didn't play around with it and make sure that we knew that it was going to be strong enough. I don't want to give you any bad information. But questions on it, make sure you stop in and see me. I'll be glad to talk to you about it. We have the jigsaw. It's a great little tool. We can allow it so the head can rotate. It has a light coming down in the back. The guard goes up and down, but if you need to, you can't see and you want to get something lined up right, then you can drop it down or you can partially go down. But it keeps you safe. Another good tool, works the same way. Vacuum, power, speed control on the side. Ambidextrous on-off switch, it's on both sides. So that works out. Again, it talks about what blades, what things to use right on the top of the box, so you know what you need. Any of these pieces of equipment will run on any of the vac systems that are in here. So it should work out well. When we get down here, we have another rotary sander. This one is a 3-inch for smaller jobs, and then the 3-inch comes with different footprints. So sanding pads depending on the size. So and then this is our smallest one. Getting into corners and doing the different things you need to do. So you have a lot of good equipment here now to get through some of these jobs. As we move over here, this is probably my favorite piece. This is a 6-inch sander. Speed control is in the rear. Power, vacuum again. Rock the switch on, touch the switch, it's off. If you're on this side with this switch, it's an oscillating orbiting sander. This one will work just like a grinder. It just will grind it down. It doesn't orbit anymore. It just eats. So be careful you don't get on this side, especially if you're finishing a project because you have a big crater, okay? But it works well. It's pretty easily to control. Sometimes people have trying to get out to the edge and on the inside of something, they have a little problem. Well, this piece pops right off. So we can get in closer. I'm not recommending that you run all the time without this because it's a guard and it keeps the tool in good shape. But if you need to get in close, you can. My favorite tool right there. That sander works so well, floats so nice. It does a good job. So, all that being said, we have 2 portable units that roll around. All this equipment that follows those 2 portable units. And if you have questions on any of it, please get a hold of someone. We're here to help any way we can. That should take care of that. Now, the new project we're starting on is the sanding tables. And you know how noisy the air sanders are, and I trying to do something to control the cloud of dust that's up in the air. Especially when you got 3 and 4 people in here sanding, and we're trying to make it better for you. Hopefully we control the situation here with these new sanders. This is a trial run right now. We have this sanding unit in here. Again, it's a Festool. It's a 5-inch sander. It's got the vacuum. Turn this around here. It's got the vacuum. Get it here so you can get that. It all hooks in, and it's all off the trigger. This starts when the sander starts and stops the same way. If you wanted the vacuum to continue on when you weren't using it, you just leave it over in manual, and it just keeps sucking. If everything goes the way it should go, we will wind up with 4 of these 5-inch. These are 5-inch sanders, not a 6-inch. These are 5s. Okay, those be setting in here on top of your units. All your paper is right there available. All the different grits that you may need. It makes it really handy to have everything there. Now, a couple of the things that will work well for us with the Festool is first of all, they're a lot quieter. They're electric. They have vacuums on them. You can run the downdraft table, or you can leave it off. It doesn't make a difference to the Festool. It doesn't make dust. It just sucks up everything. In the bottom of the Festool, you have several holes in the paper. Now, Jim had sent us over this little jig he made, so if you were having problems, you could just put your paper on and set the sander on it, and you're good to go. Now, this is all Velcro. It's on and off. It's easily to take care of. Usually, make sure once in a while you brush the Velcro pad off so you don't get any buildup in there. Okay, but if you look at it and you just put the first hole, you line it up right there. Drop it on there, it's done. And it's just that quick. But if you want to use a little jig, you can do that too. You'll find out with the Festool, the other thing we're going to do is we'll wind up saving on paper and longevity of the sanding disc. It spins a lot faster than the air-driven units. It's smoother than the air-driven units. So with the vacuum going through there, it's pulling all the waste out quickly, so you're not plugging up the paper. So the life of the paper is a lot longer than it is with the air sanders. Okay. Now, while we're in transitioning and are figuring out just what we're going to do with these systems, if you use the paper from the air sanders, there's no holes. There's dust. It will not go through. Please do not use this paper on this. Okay, I've already found this paper on this, but you need the holes so the vacuum will work. Okay, and vice versa. Don't take this paper and put it on there because it's just a waste, and we don't want to do that. Now, our goal is to make sure we have 4 units here, and we're going to put a little bungee system with a trolley here, so the hoses will hang out over the table a little more and be more comfortable for you. Had a couple people talking about how it feels when you're running this because you got a hose behind you. Well, Then we go to the other side of the table. I'm gonna sneak over here. And I talked to him about these, and I go, well, when you're running these, you know, you still have a hose plugging and pulling at you to get it done. So rather than do it, if you have a problem with that, it'll be on a trolley when we're done. So these hoses will move like this. It's just a work in progress. Give us a little time, we'll have that done. But with these, the button is on the front. Right there, it's running, good to go. Stops instantly. When you hit the stop button, it stops. I don't know if you can hear this or not. I got it running. Now you'll hear the vacuum run after I shut it off. See? And you can feel the air pulling through there. Now, when you're using this sander, usually palm of your hand, same kind of thing as before. You turn it on, it works just fine. It spins a lot faster than the air sander. It cuts better. Now, again, when you're done, it stops quickly, ready to go. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable to you, when you're here, you're working this way, just change the grip. Work this way. You can use the same hand, it doesn't matter. Now you got the hose out behind you, and it's not pulling. It works so nice. And you're done. And you hear the vacuum just stay on there, okay? So handle it this way. Of course, I'm left-handed. I better switch it around for everybody. Okay, you're mostly a right-handed. See, it pulls a little bit. When we get our little trolley system up there, you won't have that anymore. But if that didn't feel comfortable to you, just put it around or change hands and just handle the sander this way with your index finger lying in line with the hose, and then you just get it done. And it works well. But the paper, oh yeah, I'll get there. It is, stays clean, lasts a long time. This paper we've been using for quite a while now. It's just finally starting to get beat up a little bit, but it lasts so much longer because we can pull the waste out of there right away, so it's easy to deal with. Speed control for this, if you wanted to go slower, is on the side. It's just a simple dial. You just turn it from 1 all the way up to 6. We leave them set at 6 right now. If you wanted to slow it down for something, for some delicate work, but you wanted to get it done, that will work out well. A lot of folks, when they're finishing their project, this right now is amazingly smooth with that paper I was using. I think I was using, what was I using? Yeah, I was using 80, and it feels like 180 right now. It's because of the way they cut the speed that they spin. They're a lot better. And in the box, there's a lot of different papers. We have it up through 320. I use Festools a lot on some of my other projects I do. And I use, most of the time it's 100, 150, 180, or 220. If you're doing 100 and then 180, you have a finished board. You can go more. There's 220 in there if you need it. There's got 320 in there. But you'll find out you don't need to work as hard with these sanders because they do such an efficient job of cleaning things up. Now this is really smooth. Just that little bit I was doing. And I was using some tough paper on it. I didn't even have a finished paper. But you can finish at 180, you can finish at 220. If you want to go to 320, you can go ahead, but you're going to find there's not really a lot of difference. And the people that we've been working with so far that have been trying it out have found it to be a pretty interesting tool, and a lot less effort is being used to get your product finished. You know, you want everything to look good so that it's ready to go for staining or painting or whatever you're going to do to it. Again, these will be on a bungee system up here, and they'll be able to slide back and forth. That's the way we got it planned right now. You know how plans are. But hopefully, if as you get out here and you try this and you work with this system, let me know what you're thinking. like I say, we want to put in 3 more. And the nice thing about this is, if you know, they had a couple big pieces on here, and you wanted to sand, and there's a big piece here, and there's a big piece there, and you can't get there. You can take one of these, roll it out, and use it. Just plug it in the wall and just take it anywhere you want and use it, because it has its own vacuum. Each one of them will have its own vacuum with it. So it's a slick little unit. And then to dump it, this is a collection chamber here. Take the 2 snaps up, lift these up, take the 2 snaps up, dump the bucket, put it back on, push the ears down on the snaps. You're good to go. So try it, play around with it, give me some feedback on it, let me know what you're thinking. Again, we're gonna be working, don't grade us on the pulley system yet, because we're still working that out. We just got this in to set it up to try it. The other pieces that we've talked about, get around with them, take some scrap wood, experiment with them. You'll find out this is really, really good equipment. So, but get familiar with it, use it more. Remember, dominoes don't need to be like 4 or 5 inches apart. I see something that looks like a porcupine out there sometimes. You don't need that many dominoes. Not that I'm telling you can't use dominoes, because I'm not. But you know, you can use some decent space in between them, especially the thicker ones. Okay, so hopefully this will help you out a little bit. Shortly in the future, you're gonna see a piece on the new chop saw we're gonna be putting in. We got a Bosch 0 clearance chop saw. It's a slider also at the same time. It's got an amazing mechanism on it. I think you'll really like this saw that's coming. And I'm just trying to think of anything else I could tell you right now. I think we're covered. Questions, comments, concerns, send them to the board. Let us know what you think. Try it, experiment, have a good time. And we'll see you at the next video.